Go ahead.
I just want to start out with some things that I've been working in the Spirit for the last, I'd say, couple of years, but mostly given the last couple of months. When I was growing up, I was raised Southern Baptist.
Oh,
Southern Baptist.
Southern Baptist.
that's not bad.
Southern Baptist means you're going to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
And if you're female, you're going twice as fast because Adam wouldn't have gotten into trouble if it wasn't for her.
Got it.
Anyway, so by the time I was 12, I could quote you chapter and verse in the Bible. When I got into my 20s, I decided to study the history of the Bible. And what's fascinating, in any given time throughout the history that the Bible existed, there have been hundreds of versions. And periodically throughout history, somebody said, I want one and I want one my way. And so they reinvented it. Do you know that in the original Bible, heaven and hell never existed? Do you know that when Jesus was on the earth, he had as many female teachers as he had males? And the only women that got into the Bible were women who wrote something that made them subservient. It brings me back to, and this is something, because I'm a curious George and I do like to question things a lot. So, I think it's inbred in being a spiritualist. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth, and the earth was without form and void. The darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of waters. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God said, saw the light, that it was good, and divided the light from the darkness. This is something that's been on my mind a lot lately. How many have had the feelings that we're moving energetically to new reality?
Yeah.
That our minds are opening up to new ideas and new beliefs. But in order to really recognize those new beliefs, you have to recognize God created light. Nowhere does it say God created darkness. The scientific fact, you look around this room and you see the people sitting here, the chairs you're in, the color of the floor, the podium. And yet none of this would exist if light and dark did not join union. I don't believe in demons, I don't believe in devils. Have you ever spelled evil backwards? It's lived. Devil backwards is lived. We have a Madison Avenue view of what the Bible is saying right at this point. Meaning it's been rewritten and redone in order for us to believe certain things. Now, once I studied the Bible, I studied the history of Christianity, and it was anything but Christian of any of it. And then I studied the history of religions. And what's fascinating is that everything old is new again. We, throughout history, have renamed things to something else in order to make it acceptable to the group at hand. I believe this world was created simplicity. atom to exist, it requires equal amount of negative as it has to positive. You can't have one without the other. First time I saw a spirit was when I was 3 years old. And I had a man that used to walk and talk with me and explain things to me. And I thought he was God because he was so big. And whenever things got hard or things weren't fair, he would come in and sit and talk to me. He disappeared for a while after I hit the 4th grade because I went to reach for his hand, and if you can imagine, my hand could not have gone around one of his fingers. When I reached for his hand, I suddenly got the thought, they're going to think I'm crazy, nobody else can see you. And he disappeared. But he didn't disappear, he just started coming into my dreams instead. There's an interesting thing about balance. What balances my world, what balances your world, is only the perception and perspective you have on the subject at the time. It's a universal fact. Right now, people are sitting in their own little corners with their fists up, ready to defend their position. And the truth is, balance says that if I'm confident in what I believe, I don't have to defend anything. If I truly trust what I believe, I don't have to prove anything to you. Take it, you leave it. Let's get off my nose. But we have to have balance when it comes to how we are with each other. One of the big things I discovered working with spirit as long as I have is when you're in the spiritual world, you're connected to everybody and everybody's connected to you. There's a really cute movie, Kiefer Sutherland was in it, called Me in Heaven. If you ever get a chance to see it, it's almost like getting a bird's eye view of what it's like over there. So I realized working with people, if I'm there and all of a sudden I'm connected to everybody and everybody's connected with me, that I realize that a lot of people's angst is they want that connection back and they don't know why they don't have it. But the truth in everything that I've learned is there are only 3 things you need to learn in this world: self-love, self-worth, self-esteem. You can't earn it, nobody can give it to you. It is an assignment you gift yourself. You know, we always like the fact that if we give love, we're supposed to get it back tenfold. Everybody likes the way that says that, right? But you know that if I give it here, I'm going to get that back tenfold. If I give anger, I'm going to get that back tenfold. Having faith that nobody is more important than you are to God. Having faith that nobody stands in front of you, nobody stands behind you. We all need to have a relationship with God that is built truly by knowing ourselves and loving ourselves through things. Because you cannot give to somebody else what you personally do not own. And if you can't love yourself unconditionally, then you can't give it. Or as my angels taught me, if I'm not screwing something up, I'm not learning. I find that people are so harsh on themselves, they reach a point where they just want to do this. And that people tell us who they believe they are by the way they treat other people. Nobody ever tells you who you are. But I do believe that this place is a place that we came to practice being children of God. And that means being able to manifest, to be able to create whatever makes your soul feel good about it. Because the body we have is temporary, it's not even real. It's a reflection that we have about ourselves given to other people. That's all it is. It's just a reflection of a belief system. There's experiments that I did when I was young, where I used to do out of body. By the time I was 3, it was the first time I remember doing out of body. Yeah. And then I would play with the idea that sometimes I'd be in my physical body looking at my spirit self. And other times I'd be in my spirit self looking at my physical body. And it seemed to me the one factor both sides had is my intellect, my knowing. Though I noticed that my physical world was restrictive. It was restricted because of the fact that my belief system came from what other people reacted, did, said. But my soul body, it's like when I can get into my soul body and look back at my world, life has a much better way of seeing it. If you make it to 100 years old, you'll still have only been here that long by your soul's time. That long. All the angst, I really believe some people are trying to have a more disastrous life than somebody else, just so they have something to talk about on the other side. Well, you think that was bad, here on this. Life is not as hard as we think it should be. Because a lot of times what I find is people come into this world thinking they're supposed to be punished. I had a fascinating reading with a young girl. She couldn't have been more than 18, 19 years old, and she was with a whole group of her friends. And I said to her, all of a sudden, it's like I got this overwhelming feeling like I wanted to throw up, and I had this vision. And I was walking through a hospital, and these gurneys, these sheets, and they were falling off, and they were horrible things that I was looking at. She was the only blonde, blue-eyed child of a family of 13 kids. And all the rest of her family hated her. And her guys were standing there. And I told her what I saw, because I didn't want to. She kept insisting. And she said she had that dream since she was born. And what her guides told me is that she was one of the doctors performing these surgeries in her last incarnation. And that she was here to to go back into medicine and try to make sure these things couldn't happen again. They said her brothers and sisters were her victims, and that they were here to learn forgiveness. So we all come in with something that we need to work through. I always say the same thing. You're eternal, or figure it out. Chill out, relax, and don't take your medicine serious. Because I promise you, Spirit will bless you. If you really take what that Bible says in its beginning, that God created light and separated it from the darkness, that ultimately we know what matter is, they still don't know what antimatter is. And I believe what glues this world together is divine love. Everything I've been through in this world, but by the grace of God, I literally means that whatever somebody else does, I am somewhere capable, no matter whether I think I could or couldn't. I'm still capable of doing that. Bible says what you do to one, you do to all. It also means what you do to yourself. Love, I do believe, is the answer. Love, I believe, is what we're striving to learn. But I don't believe in a God that stands over and gives favorites out, or tells somebody, well, you've been a good girl and you've done it and sacrificed yourself. So I believe that God will intercede but not interfere in this world, which means that we were sent with teachers. Good, bad, or ugly, we were sent here with teachers. But we're here to learn, to walk through the denseness of other people's world and not let it stick. Not make it about you. It's their world, not yours. If they're happy living in that world, then you need to find a world that you can be happy in too. Because ultimately, when you leave this earth, they're going to ask you who your mother is, they're going to ask you who your father is, they're not going to ask you who your lover is or who your children were. The very first question I was told, everyone is asked, did you love the city you live in? Did you take good care of the godchild you are? By the divine source of all things, in which you love.